So, but our other guest is ready. She's waiting patiently. And here she is. Let's welcome, and believe me, there is only one, Miss Echo Endless. What's going on there, Echo?
Hey, thanks so much for having me on.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, you were just, how should we say, incredible. Because the more we see about you, the more we get blown away. Because you're always doing something, and it's just like, holy cow. She just went above and beyond.
Yeah, you only get to live once, so I want to try everything.
Well, it seems like you're doing it. Like the latest thing, which I haven't seen much as of late, but you were stepping in the ring and becoming a pro wrestler.
I was going to school, over at studying with Chikara. I unfortunately suffered some pretty severe tendinitis in my knees and in my ankles from overtraining. So I had to take the whole month of June to just rest and recuperate and not work out at all, which has been so hard. But yeah, studying at Chikara was absolutely amazing, and I hope to get back into wrestling and doing that, soon, as soon as I'm all healed up and ready to go.
I was shocked. When I saw that, I was like, oh, my God, no, she's not. Now she's becoming a wrestler.
Well, I have some history in, being physical in the performance sense. I was in the Great Adventure stunt show quite a few years ago when they had it out on the water, the Lethal Weapon stunt show. I was the female lead in that, and I have some experience in stage fighting and stunt work a little bit in some films and stuff too. So although it's not something that I've kind of have practiced, recently, so a lot of my cosplay fans don't know that side of me. It's something that, I've always been into and just, man, there's nothing like it. It's just the most fun thing ever.
See, this is what I mean. Like, the more you talk to you, the more you find out. So you were involved with, like, stunts and all this other stuff. Like, this is where I have to ask, like, what is your day job? Like, is there a 9 to 5 job you actually do?
Well, always throughout, everything that I've always done, I've always run at least a 40-hour, at least 40 hours of full-time work all the time. And I actually work in cosmetics and retail, and I do makeup and manage makeup stores currently in between jobs. So, if anybody's hiring. But, no, I've always, done that too. So, I also have a management background and a makeup artist background, and, it never ends.
Now, okay, with the makeup, and I can totally see that. Like, you take the world of cosplay to, like, a whole nother level. Like, where you see most, and it's becoming a whole craze. I mean, you have to admit, you've been doing it for years, but more and more and more and more and more, you're seeing more cosplayers and more cosplayers, but it's more of a lot of people, like, just sewing costumes together or even just buying Halloween costumes, and that's their thing. Like, but you just take it to, like, level times 10.
It's a different thing for me, I think, and it's wonderful. Don't get me wrong. I think that it's really wonderful that cosplay is a thing now, and that there is so many more outlets, because it was so few and far between in the past, like 15 years ago when I started doing this, that there was so few and far between when I would have a chance to do it. Like I would go to, like the Big Apple Con in New York City, which was a small little basement con at the time, and now it's this big, huge thing. But, I would do it there, and I would be maybe one of 3 people, in there that was dressed up. But it's, for me, it's such a passion, because it's a way to do all of these different things that I do in my life and put it together in a way that is kind of, cosplay is kind of a frame for a lot of my other talents. It's, something that I can put together and say, all right, well, I do this metal work and I do this makeup and I do, this costume stuff. Well, how can I put it all together, and I try to incorporate my music into it when I can. It's just, it's nice that there's some place to go and to do it. And I think it's great for people too. I think it's an important way for people to get to express themselves. And you know, for some people, just like the thought of just putting on a Halloween costume when it's not Halloween is such a weird thing, but then they go and do it and it's freeing, and, you know, some of us get addicted and then we want to do it all the time.
Now, myself and my co-host Nick, we've discussed this beginning of the show. We've discussed this on other shows. Whenever the topic of She-Hulk comes up, I mean, you just immediately say, Echo Endless. Like, you are She-Hulk. No, I can't.
Thank you.
And Nick said the same thing. Like, we can't picture anybody else becoming She-Hulk other than you.
Well, you better get ready, because I hear that there's going to be a Netflix that she's going to be coming into the Hell's Kitchen world of Daredevil and all of them pretty soon. I don't know that, you know, there's like rumors floating around the internet. I don't know if they've officially casted anybody for it, but there is going to be somebody else that's going to be She-Hulk. But that's okay. You know, I appreciate like all of the props and the reps that I have as She-Hulk. It's been really cool. But over the you know, kind of the course, I would say the last 3 years or so, I can't tell you how many people have inboxed me and said, like, how do I do this? Like, I really want to cosplay as She-Hulk. And just getting other people and having other people that are passionate about the same thing that I'm passionate about is really cool. So I've gotten the chance to, you know, not only like be She-Hulk, but kind of like be this shulky mama and you know, get all these other people to be able to, you know, wear the shulky guys too and kind of help them along. And that's been really, really rewarding.
Now, the first time you did that, how long did it take you to put all the body paint on?
The very first time I did it, it probably took me, I would say, about maybe 5 hours.
Holy
yeah, I've got it down now to about, you know, depending on what costume I'm wearing, some of them have a lot more skin exposed than others do. So
right.
I have versions of Shulky that I can do that I can get into in 45 minutes. And, you know, like business Shulky, that takes about 45 minutes to an hour, because it's just, I have 2 different versions of that. But the more covered version, it's just my hands and my face that are out, really, and like half my legs. So it's not that much. Not that big of a deal. But, you know, my ones that there's, you know, when I do, you know, the sports Shulky from the early 90s when, and, you know, you have like my midriff exposed and all of that, that, you know, can still take me a good 2 hours, and I hand brush it on every time.
You hand brush it?
Yeah, I'm actually not, everybody thinks that it's airbrush all the time, but I'm actually not a big fan of airbrush makeup for a few reasons. One being that it's really difficult to touch it up. So let's say it starts to, you know, wear off on you a little bit. You would have to have an airbrush with you that right then and there to go over it, and it still just never looks right. And airbrush is also very dry, because it's usually an alcohol-based paint if you want something that's going to last all day. And it can look just really dry, and it really doesn't look like skin. It looks very fake. So the combinations, I use these chroma cakes. They're like an aqua-based cake, and it kind of works just like a watercolor paint does. Except for that it's more opaque. And I've just found that works really well. And that's what people say to me all the time. They're like, oh my God, it's so weird to see you out of paint. I always, like, to me, your skin color is just green, you know, and that's what I've been able to get that technique down with the makeup, where it really is very convincing as real skin.
Now, when you do
and I hope my persona, you know, as She-Hulk sells it a little bit too.
It does. I was going to say, when you do the conventions and you're not She-Hulk, do you have like fans that come up to you and they're pissed off or upset because, I wanted to see She-Hulk?
It's sometimes people get disappointed a little bit because they really, really wanted to see She-Hulk. And I mean, I do it. It's one of those things, like I've done it for so long, but it's still so gratifying to do it. So I still do it pretty often. Most of the times if I'm making an appearance at a con, you know, one of the days is going to be, you know, it's going to be She-Hulk. And there's so many other costumes that I have and so many other costumes that I still want to do yet that you're like, oh man, do I skip out on it this weekend? Do I not, you know, bring Shulky out? But it's hard not to. But the great thing about She-Hulk is that she can wear anything. It's not like she just has a roster of like 5 costumes that she's worn throughout the years. She's pictured in, regular clothes all the time. So you really have, when she was sensational, she was a model, she can be, anything from like, you've got the model look, the lawyer look, her sporty look, her, 10 different costumes that she wore in every other random team that she was, affiliated with for a little while. That's another good thing too, is that she's been on so many different teams, is that she, has those costume looks too. And it's neat because you can kind of pop in on different groups. And it's great when like there's a group cosplay, going on, like a Fantastic Four, and you go to jump in there and they're like, wait, no, you were never a part of us. And you're like, oh my God, I totally was, you guys.
Now, when you come up with these costumes, I mean, like some of the ones you do they're hardcore, like intricate makeup influenced, like total special effects things. And I mean, like, it's got to take so much time. Like, do you just sit there and be like, do I really want to like tackle this going into a convention?
Yes. And I have that. I mean, I try to plan out conventions so that it's going to be as practical and as comfortable for me as possible. So it's like I tried it for a little while when I really started, conventioning heavily, was that, I would try to do like green and red She-Hulk in the same weekend, and it's just, you can't. You really can't. I mean, you can, and I have, but it's not easy. Just being, the paint does leave a little residue on your skin. You are stained a little bit after wearing it for a day or so. So it is sometimes, or when it's really hot out, for instance, it's difficult to say like, oh, wow, can't wait to put all that body paint on. Can't wait to, wear those prosthetic ears and prosthetic teeth today. But I can't, I love it. I love the transformation. Makeup for me is a very meditative process. So whether I'm doing makeup on myself or I'm doing makeup on someone else, it's something that calms me and soothes me. So for me, it's always a really nice process. So like I do get stressed out, and I do have those moments of like, oh my God, this doesn't look right or whatever. Even after doing She-Hulk for so long, I tend to be super critical of myself on it. But it's so rewarding, like seeing the smiles on little kids' faces and adults' faces and people just lighting up and fans coming out to see me. That all of those things, like, it makes it worth it. And if I could do it every day, I would do it every day.
Now, honestly, I picture you doing it every day. Like, to me, I can, like, be She-Hulk, like, every day or something, or one of the other characters you do. Like, for some reason, like, I can.
Well, I do have a pretty eccentric look, personally, and I always did, and that was one of the things that really made cosplay such a natural choice for me, was that, if I'm going anywhere, like I always dress up. If you follow my Facebook or my Instagram account, you'll see all the different crazy makeups that I do on myself just to, go walk around or go out on a date or any of those kinds of things. I enjoy that. I use myself as a canvas. I'm the medium for the art, and it's for me, makeup art is a neat thing because it is almost like, your own personal Zen garden. You put on this, this whole look, and you spend time creating it. And like I said, it is kind of a meditative process. And then at the end of the day, you don't have a choice. You have to wash it off and create it again. But it's kind of this art outlet that's always there and available, to you.
Now, does it take longer to put on or take the makeup off?
It depends on the makeup. Usually longer to put it on, although there have been some mishaps. Like I said, I'm always experimenting with new things. So I've tried some. The first time I tried Prozade, which is a kind of paint that is also a glue. I was not aware that you needed a remover to take it off. And I tried everything on my skin, even nail polish remover I tried to put on my skin, and even that wouldn't take the paint off. So I had to sleep in that paint. We scrubbed most of it off. I needed help scrubbing it off. We got as much off as possible, but I actually had to wait until the next day when I could go and get something that had the active ingredient in the remover in it, which turned out to be electric shave. So if you ever have any kind of paint on you, electric shave, that won't come off, electric shave will take it off. Good tips for life.
I was waiting for you to say Coca-Cola or something.
Right? Soak in a bath of Coca-Cola, that would probably do the trick too.
Now, how about has there been any characters that you've wanted to like really tackle and you just haven't done it yet, or been intimidated to?
Well, as far as ones that I wanted to do but haven't tackled, certainly Gem. I'm a huge Gem fan, and I've wanted to do somebody from the Gem world, particularly Synergy, as she was my really favorite character, and certainly it's a body paint. So, but it's one of those things that I'm so particular about it. I mean, I have a Gem tattoo on my arm. I'm about a bigger Gem fan probably than even a She-Hulk fan. But it's one of those things that like it would have to be so perfect. Every piece of it would have to be so perfect. And I think for that sense, in a lot of ways, a lot of my costumes, I'll kind of wait until all the right pieces fall in place. So, for instance, my Wonder Woman, I'd been wanting to do Wonder Woman for a long time, and had the concept in mind for the belt and, the tiara and all the metal work. I knew what I was going to do for that, but I didn't have a lot of pieces of the costume. And I happened to happen upon this beautiful corset at a theme song convention, and I'm so remiss I can't remember the name of the designer of it right now, but it's something it was on sale, and I got it, and it came with the bird, and I incorporated those pieces into the costume and then did some metal work, to incorporate them further in. So for me, it's sometimes just one of those things where I have to find some of the right pieces. Like I've never found a wig that would work for Synergy, so I haven't
Right.
gone to do it, because it's one of those things that if I'm going to do it, I want to do it right.
When it's ready to happen, it'll happen.
Yeah, and I would say another one too that has been that I did the makeup test run for that I haven't worn out in public yet is Volcana, and that's from the Volcana from the Marvel universe, because it is just I'm literally just covered in makeup, like there's just no clothes on the top, but I mean it's covered with prosthetic pieces. I'm covered, so it's not like I'm going topless, but it's just like I feel too intimidated to walk around in public like that.
Oh boy, that's crazy. So now, how about it's funny too, because and when I was going through stuff today to get stuff together for the interview tonight, then I started going through the whole music thing of you, and I was like, oh my God, I remember when we talked before, which was probably like 2 years ago. I instantly thought of, as I was going through, I was like, oh my God, that song "Be Water," and I was sitting there today in my office. I always dug that song.
That's awesome, and I'm glad that stuck with you. And I'm hoping to get back into the studio soon. I have a bunch of unrecorded songs that are ready to go, and it's something that I still remain passionate about. And I'm still doing open mics here in Philly just to get on stage and express myself, and get in front of people, because for me the live performance of it is really what I'm the most passionate about. There's nothing like performing in front of people.
How much do you freak some people out when you do some of your stuff?
People are often very surprised. Like, for instance, when I'm doing open mics in Philly, like I go to hip hop open mics, and I'm just the weird looking girl standing in the corner, and nobody expects the things that are going to come out of my mouth to come out of my mouth, and everybody has this oh shit moment, and it's great. And that's super awesome. And doing the makeup stuff is still always a really amazing thing to be in cosplay. And you have to go to Wawa to pick up something on the way to the con, or to take a break and go get a soda, and just seeing people's faces. I'm always amazed at how positive a response I get from people, especially people that aren't expecting it. They're like, wow, that's like crazy and different. And I think it's just really, that's the the energy that I'm feeling, that I'm putting out there, and I really get it back from people, and it's so gratifying.
That's awesome. Now, with the makeup, too, and I always thought this, too, did you ever think of going out for that show, what's it called, Faceoff, where it's all, the special effects makeup?
a lot of people have told me to go ahead and do that. I unfortunately don't have the. It's funny. I'm in most of the mediums that I do in my art. I'm self-taught, and makeup is the same way. So I actually don't have so much of a background of. I have my own technique for building prosthetics, and it's not the school's technique or the technique that they use on those shows. So
Right.
I don't know that it would necessarily like fit in or be appreciated, or and it's it's kind of a homespun thing, the way that I'm able to make my effects, and I think that's why my stuff does look so different. But I'm also not a big proponent of reality TV, and especially competition. Like even in cosplay and stuff, I've been a judge a few times on costume contests, but in general, it's not really my thing. I think, art is great and it's wonderful for art to be appreciated, but I think we're all too quick to be judging each other. And that end of reality TV, I'm kind of really against, where everything is a competition and everybody is just here to judge and see who's better than the next person. And that doesn't really appeal to me. I'd rather everybody just be appreciated for, what they bring to the table. But
Sure.
Unfortunately, that doesn't sell, that's not getting views. It's not selling commercials and all that
Right.
stuff.
Now, how about like with the whole cosplaying thing too? Like, I always wonder, why haven't you been more like I don't know if you want to say like a professional, quote unquote professional cosplayer, where you have like your Yaya Hans and your Ivy Doomkitties, where that's what they do. Like they travel around the country, they travel around the world doing that. I always wondered why you're not doing something like that.
Well, as you discovered, it can kind of be hard to get a hold of me sometimes. I'm a little bit of I'm just that person that I would rather be doing the creative things necessarily than I'm terrible at self-promotion. Like, it takes so much for me to sit here and be like, yeah, come to this event I'm going to be at, or do this. And I've had that, in every art form that I've ever done. I'm just not great at promoting myself. And I try to be good about it and schedule posts for my Facebook page and do the legwork that you need to do. And it is, you need to, either be, just like getting famous, you need to be in the right place at the right time, know the right people, and there's also certain things that I don't want to do. Like, I don't want to post the same picture of myself, 5 times a day just to be in circulation on social media, and it's just there's just a lot of that doesn't appeal to me. And I know that that's just how it is. And it's not, there's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing bad about it. I just don't find going through all of that to be super appealing. I'd rather be in the metal studio making something, or, sitting around painting myself, or making, costumes and making props and making music and doing live performances. But, I know you got to get people you have to build your audience in order for that to happen. I just don't have that piece so much.
Yeah, that the whole part of it, it's that's where it becomes a job, and it becomes a pain in the ass, because you have to spend so much time doing that part to make the other part happen.
Yeah, and it is really, and does it, it's tough. It's hard work, and it's, you got to put a lot of time and effort into it, and I'm just not great at doing that, unfortunately.
But you do put a lot of time and effort into all the the costumes and the makeup and the metal and all that stuff. But also too, I see you do a bunch of videos as well.
Yeah, the video thing I really have absolutely fallen in love with, and I've started to shoot and edit my own videos too, which has been really another, it's another art form that I learned, and it's really just neat to be able to do that. And hopefully we had some computer problems, so we were off for a month, but we should be back with some more moon-based videos. And I love that. That is just the most fun thing. That and being on stage, I would say, are my 2 favorite experiences in life. We have such a good time when we get together and make those videos, and they're very silly and they're very campy. But to me, and that's one of those things too, I like to make them and I like to share them, but those are one of those things that even if nobody ever saw them except for me and the people that I was making them with, and we just get to laugh and enjoy them, that's totally worth it too. It's something, making those silly videos is something that I've done since I was in high school. Me and my high school friends would get together and just have a video camera and just tape us being ridiculous or doing something silly. And there's like this weird, very offbeat sense of humor that is definitely not for everyone. It's definitely a little eclectic, but like I said, I have so much fun doing it.
Now you mentioned Moonbase. Like, what is the whole Moonbase thing?
So Moonbase is a cosplay collective. There's 4 of us. There's myself, there's Hex Evolution, there's Teeny Fox, which most people know, and then there's Steampunk Cylon. And the 4 of us, we like to do cosplay, and we play the cosplay game a little differently than some people. Like you were saying, I'm not that professional cosplayer. We do as much as we can to kind of give something to the community, because we know that when you come to a convention, you're spending all of this money to be there, however much your ticket was, however much your parking was, however much it cost you to get there, all of those things, and then you're paying $100 for people's autographs and stuff. And, we try to think about like the kids that are there that like don't get to get anything because, the toys are too expensive and they can't even touch them. So we want to give them something. We want to, if people get weirded out when they come up to our table at a convention all the time because they're like, what do you mean this is free? So, we have the ability to, be able to reach into our pockets a little bit and put a small investment in because, we're either paid by the convention to be there or we're there for free. We don't have to pay anything. We get to be at the convention for the whole weekend. So, we take the little bit that we have and we put it back into Moonbase and we make things like, prints and, we have comics and things and little prize packs, and we try to just, enjoy ourselves. And that's what, the videos we do is always with Moonbase and, unless I'm doing them just She-Hulk on my own. But, we have a good time. And that's what, for us, cosplay is about. It's not about, we have jobs that we all go to and we make money at them, during the day. Right. I would love to make cosplay my job, but I get the chance to just enjoy it. And that's, having it not be a job really makes it easier for me to pass that wonderful experience on to the other people that are also there to enjoy it. And then it's pressure-free for everybody.
Yeah, I was going to say that too. Like, has there ever been like a time where you're thinking to yourself, like, you know what, like, I'm going to go and I'm not going to dress up. I'm just going to go as a true fan and just enjoy the con for what it is.
Yes, and it's great because nobody ever knows who I am when I'm out of costume. It's phenomenal. And it is wonderful just to go and to go as a fan and just enjoy it. I think I started going to horror conventions when I was probably like 13 or 14. So I've always convention life has always been a part of, me growing up and everything. So I do like to go and just enjoy it as a fan sometimes, but I think I have always seen it because I've always had this weird, dressing up in costume thing. I've always seen it also as an excuse to get dressed up. So that's part of the excitement for me too.
It's funny because that's the first place I saw you was at Monster Mania in Cherry Hill, probably like 4 years ago, maybe. And you were like, I guess Red Hill. Yeah. And I remember it was like on a Friday, and I was sitting there in the lobby, and you came walking in, and I was just like, holy shit, she is hardcore. Like, she's over the top. Like, this is too much. Like, I was blown away. And then when I saw you were the same person as the Green She-Hulk, I was like, holy shit, that's the same person.
And that's how I know I'm doing a good job at it, is that if you don't recognize me out of costume, or you don't realize that I'm the same person from one day to the next, like that always definitely lights up my day when somebody's like, oh my God, you were this person yesterday, and they're like, I couldn't believe that you were the same person. That's just great.
So now, how's your schedule coming up? I mean, I guess you're pretty busy with all the cons now. I mean, because it's like every weekend there's cons.
There is, but I really took a little bit of a back seat this season for Moonbase in general, just because we all personally had a lot of shifts in our jobs and teeny foxes in school. So it was a little rough for all of us to get everything together. But I also have gotten involved in some other projects. So we're done. We're actually done for the season for cons that we're going to be guests at, unless we get any like last minute things that we can do. But I'll probably be attending a couple of conventions. I'll probably be at Baltimore. I may be at Otakon. Not sure yet. But, yeah, and just some smaller shows, too, because I like to do the smaller conventions rather than, like, all the big ones, because they're honestly, they're really exhausting. It is, like, to go to New York Comic-Con for me, it's a hell of a thing, you know, even if like I've gone years where I've stayed like right there and I was in a hotel really close by, but it is just, I mean, you know, if you've been there, you know, the experience of just going as even a layperson, it's pretty overwhelming. So I do like those smaller, more intimate gatherings, and that's one of the things that came to do, again, like I was just mentioning, is that it can be really pricey to go to a con, and not everybody can afford to do that all the time. But we want to see more cosplay in different places, and we think that it really, you know, now that it is a thing, we think that it, you know, it has a place in places other than just inside the walls of a comic book convention. So I became involved with a group called Sexy Nerds. They're based out of New York, and they do some parties, and they've done some in Times Square and some in Brooklyn, and their next one coming up on July 23rd is going to be at Gold Sounds on Wilson Avenue in Brooklyn. And I'm going to be there, and it's going to be a really cool thing. They're going to have, you know, video games set up, Mario Kart and other just, like, easy player-friendly games. There's going to be music, dancing, giveaways. We're just going to have a good time, and it's only $10 to get in. So if you can get yourself there and you've got $10, you can have a good time, you know, rather than maybe schlepping yourself for a whole day and, you know, paying $30 to get it, and then money for autographs and all that other stuff, and it's too busy to even get a chance to talk to someone. This way, at least we have a chance to get together with friends, with fans, and with anybody that wants to come by and just have a good, you know, have a good time and have a little bit more of a relaxed, less formal atmosphere where you can hang out and have a couple drinks, and I think it's going to be pretty awesome. Nice. We also are going to have a Philly party with Sexy Nerds, and that's going to be in Philadelphia. And there'll be a bus that's a party bus going from New York to Philly. So if anybody wants to come down from New York and join the Philly experience, we would love to have them down here. And that's going to be on the 6th of August. And that's going to be at Fox and Hound right in Center City, Philadelphia. And you can find all that stuff. Will be posted on my Facebook page, but I'm hoping to play a set there as well so that I can have the chance to be in cosplay and do music, because that is really what makes my life feel complete.
Dropping the gamma bomb.
Yes.
Now, what the hell was I going to say? Ontario Street Comics. You're going to be there this weekend for the big Marvel DC Day?
That I don't know if we can make it. I do have some work commitments this weekend, so I don't know if I can make it there. I really want to. I had a really good time at Free Comic Book Day at Ontario. It's definitely like one of my favorite comic shops. I don't get to get up there all the time, but I get up there every chance that I get.
Yeah, because I was there for the Free Comic Book Day. I was all the way down in the corner. We were with my daughter, because she's an artist and she's selling her prints and stuff now. And we were all the way squeezed in the corner. And I was like, oh, yeah, there's She-Hulk and there's Batman.
I didn't even see you.
We were trapped for like 6 hours. Like, we could not get out of the corner.
Oh, man.
It was crazy.
It was good. It was a really nice comic book day. And I just, like I said, I love William and the whole crew over there. Everybody is always, like, just amazing. Absolutely.
Cool. So there's always craziness going on in the wacky world of Go Endless.
Yes. Always something new and exciting.
That's awesome. Well, this has been great. It's been great catching up with you again.
Yeah, it was nice talking with you too. And like I said, I'm trying to be on my social media hustle, and I'm trying to be on my self-promotion hustle. So I'll try to be less of a hermit and be out and about in the community a little more.
Yeah, I mean, what's kind of weird because you go out and you're like in costume and all this stuff. You would think you'd be like the outgoing one. You know what I mean? Like you'd be very happy and proud to be like doing that and putting yourself out there with the social media and all that. But it sounds like you're the exact opposite.
It's a weird, I'm a weird introvert, extrovert. I love doing it and I love sharing it with people, but I also am that person that doesn't, I always feel like I'm imposing. I'm always like, wow, I have all this stuff to talk about, but I don't want to steamroll somebody in a conversation. Once you get me talking, I'm pretty good to go. But I don't want to just jump out in any given conversation and be like, hey, this is me. This is what I do. You should check it out. I'm so awesome. That's not, I don't know, it's not polite.
Oh, that's funny. Now, I know that you got the other thing, too, that we can't talk about, but, when that's ready to happen, we got to get you back on here to talk about it.
Absolutely. That's super secret into secret. I'm so excited.
Yeah.
That's going to be awesome. Awesome.
All right, so where can everybody find you and keep updated? You know what? There is something, too. How about, I'm sure you have, the whole stalker thing go on.
That's not too bad, actually. I've, and I am a big proponent of, women being strong women and not intimidated by people and all of that stuff. So I don't really have too much of a problem. I'm pretty good at handling people, and people just don't want to mess with She-Hulk. People are scared.
Oh.
So yeah, I don't have too much of a problem with that. If anybody gets out of line, I put them right in their place.
That is funny. Cool. All right. So where can everybody find you, keep up to date with you, and find out where you're going to be?
So if you want to stalk me, these are the places. You can find me on Facebook. Look up Echo Endless. You will find my page. ReverbNation.com is where you can download over 40 of my original songs. I'm on Twitter quite rarely. I do encourage everybody to check out my YouTube page for my weird, eccentric, oddball humor, and also if you want to see some cool reviews of different comic book shops that I go around and visit, and She-Hulk reviewing and visiting comic book shops, there's a lot of that on there too, as well as some of my live performance stuff. So yeah, any social media, if you Google me, you'll find me. It's Echo Endless, and it's all spelled like regular words.
And go and listen to B. Water on her Reverb Nation page.
Yes, and especially if you like Bruce Lee.
Very cool. Well, Echo, again, it's been great talking to you again. And, let's not wait another 2 years. And, when that happens, the big surprise, we'll have to talk. I guess that's going to be later in the year? Or?
Yeah, I think in September, but I'm not positive yet.
Oh, cool. Very cool. Nice.
Yeah.
So we'll talk to you in a few months.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Awesome. Thank you so much for having me on. This is really great.
No problem. Thank you. Take care, and we'll be seeing you out at the cons, I'm sure, too.
All right. Great. Take care.
Yay. Bye.
Bye.
All right, well, there she goes. I mean, and again, she is the one and only, and Netflix, if you're listening, she is She-Hulk. So check her out. Yeah. She is.
Yeah, buddy, that's
uber talented.
She's on fire, dude. I know. She's just totally driven.
She is. Now, explain to me how, she does these videos and they're not, viral. I mean, I you know what I mean? How do you get that button? I don't get it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think that viral is so subjective too. You know what I mean? I'm sure she does. She's got to get great numbers, right?
Not as good as you would think.
Oh wow, it's crazy. I don't know. I don't know what the key is. You know what I mean? Like, me and you, we've constantly been searching for the, you know, recipe.
Yeah, I don't know. It's weird. It's like you got to find that switch to flip, and once you got that flipped over, you're good.